All right, so I can't believe this. So you know what? If you didn't see my last video, I suggest you go take it out. I mean, go check it out. Um, but I think we got them here. I think we got them. Now you guys know some of my past videos for years, and also in particular around the inauguration, what theories I put forth. Um, and you know, the thing is, there's certain things or a certain letter with certain information that was put out that checked out and was proofed in many different ways. And I can't forget that. There's no way that that operation just fizzled out. So, with that in mind, I noticed this glitch. And to my surprise, as soon as I finished my video, I noticed that many others were noticing this, including a really big YouTuber that does great videos. He does great videos. I could tell he was in the Air Force most likely. Monkey Works, and you know he follows he has the call signs. He has some program where he can follow. It's actually very similar to something I used to do in the military, but he does it in a different way than I did it. And he follows he follows all the military planes, and he knows everything there is to do about military aircraft in and out. Well, he actually had the same theories as me around the inauguration. About a week after the inauguration, he said, "You know what? I don't think this is happening. I think we all got fooled." Well, this video of Biden where they had this mistake, and there's been other mistakes in the past, but they weren't as blatant, where his hand literally goes through the microphone, and it's just right away you can tell, okay, it's CGI. It's either the microphones or CGI. So that's where I was. I said the only explanation is they added the microphones and overlaid them later. And I'll play the video. I'll play the video. You guys can see it again for anyone just seeing this one, not seeing the last one. But there's been now I've actually seems like people are starting to see it. I hadn't known that this was like a something that people were seeing, but this is the first time I heard about it on YouTube, other than what I just did on my video. And he goes into a little bit deeper, and there's some interesting stuff in this video. And I'll play what he says, and I'll also just point out a few things, because this is what's going to happen. It's things like this. When you have something like this where they make a mistake, there's going to be other mistakes that we would never think to look at. But now that we know there's something's up and we look deeper into it, other things start showing up. So first, let's watch it again. Where's my Twitter? Go to Twitter. Yeah, if you haven't seen if you didn't see the last video, you check it out. But we're gonna check it out here again, and there's gonna be a little bit of noise in the background. My daughter's playing. That's why. Okay, so this isn't like. By the way, this video, it's the video. It's the same video from The Hill, from ABC News, NBC News. They're all here. We go. Now watch his hands in relation to this, especially the fuzzy microphone, but both of them, watch. Now you see that? His hand like goes through the microphone, and somehow his hand is in front of the microphone. You might be thinking, oh, well, maybe the microphone is just the angle, it went behind his head. No, look closely. You'll be able to see the CGI. Even look around the fuzzy microphone. It actually happens with the black microphone too, but with the fuzzy microphone, you can really see it. You can tell it's CGI. Just look at what that microphone looks like, and then it's so obvious when his hand literally goes through it. Not at the moment. Have you decided when you're able to share thoughts with us? Now you guys see that? It's people are starting to catch on with this. Also, Now you see the SUV in the background. That's just the SUV that he's coming from. And when I show Monkey Works, you guys will see the model. But that model with the racks on top, that is actually an older model. That model hasn't been used since November of 2020. And they'll show Monkey Works will show the new model too. So, like I said, things that no one would think to look at, but now that they made a mistake, there's other things starting to come out that almost kind of establishes a timeline. Why would he be using? He rarely leaves the White House and goes public, and when he finally does leave the White House during the very few hours that he's actually working a day, he's using the old model. No, no, no. They don't do that. It's like a ship, you know? It's like decommissioned. The president isn't going to ride in that. Also, there's no seal. It would have a presidential seal on that, on the SUV. There's no seal in that either. And I also, just so you know, he did come from that SUV. I did see some other video. That is the SUV he comes from. No presidential seal. It's the old model, which you'll see in a second. It just doesn't make sense. And they stopped using that model in 2020 of November. So, you know, just after the election, they had a new model. And here we are in March, and it's a totally different model SUV. To me, that tells me either A, they're having him do this and he's not actually riding in the actual presidential SUV. Hold on a second. Olivia, I'm going to be very fast, okay? Philly. Sorry. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to. She's playing with the dog. So what does this mean? Now, I don't want to get too crazy with the theories, but you guys know that there has been countless pieces of evidence that point to this being all a show and something big is coming. And we're all going to get our minds blown with this. This just adds to that. This just adds to it. He's using the wrong model vehicle, no presidential seal, and this is clearly CGI. Now, the reporters that are there, are they actors or are they truly reporters and cameramen that just stay quiet? They sign they sign something and they have to be quiet. I mean, how deep does this go? And it makes sense when you really think of it. They could create a false reality. You know, we're all in our homes, at work, you know, out and about in our where we live. The Capitol is surrounded by barbed wire and lockdown, surrounded by National Guard. They're putting out videos of the president supposedly coming from his presidential SUV. And another thing that's mentioned by Monkey Works, the Secret Service, they don't look squared away like the Secret Service normally would. It doesn't even look like legit Secret Service. Now, that piece of evidence is a little bit shaky for me. I'd rather something more solid, like the fact that this is clearly CGI with the microphone. And someone else mentioned like the blades not moving when the Marine One is going. But then again, that could be technology. I don't think the blades have to move when it's making sound. So I don't know if that's. But these two pieces of evidence, the CGI with the microphone and the fact that he's coming from a SUV that is the wrong model. It's from pre-November 2020. And that's not something they would just do. There's actually 3 big pieces, but 2 in this video. These are just for right now. Also, the fact that he is CGI with this microphone, it's clear. I mean, it's so clear. I saw the comments afterwards. Everyone sees what I see. And it's good to know now some big channels are reporting it. I think he might have seen my video, because literally I did my video and then his video came out right after my video. And also because he follows all these military planes, one of the big things he does is outside of like seeing what's going to Guantanamo Bay is he follows Air Force One and Air Force Two. Well, Air Force Two has been out and about, but Biden, every time he flies, the call sign is not Air Force One. That has always been one of those big pieces of evidence that gives me hope that my original theory is correct. Now this video comes out. I noticed this thing with the hands, and other people are noticing it too. And they're picking up on other evidence, like this SUV. So let me play it again. Watch his hands.
Not at the moment. Have you decided?
Look at that. So I watched this a million times because I was trying to foolproof it, come at it with different theories, see if anyone else had a different theory of how this could just be like an optical illusion. And none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. This is CGI. Now, is he CGI? Or is everything else CGI? In my opinion, everything else is CGI. For sure, the microphones. But why would you just do fake microphones? This might all be fake. Maybe his mental situation. Now, this is what Monkey Works think. He doesn't think it's originally, that this is all part of the plan and the storm and all that. He doesn't think that. I'm being biased. I'm thinking that because I followed all that so closely for so many years that there were too many proofs. It was mathematically impossible that it wouldn't be true. And then all of a sudden, the whole operation just fizzles away. I'm not buying it. But as time has gone, I'm like, wow, so I guess I got tricked. I don't know. I worked in military intelligence myself with a top secret clearance. I have a different perspective where so many things were off and so many other things made sense that it was hard for me to come to that conclusion. And that's not for my pride, just because of the facts. And then, I noticed this with the hands. And I was so happy to see a big YouTuber like him. And he was military as well. And he thought that the storm was all true and all that was happening. But once the inauguration happened, he just kind of let go of that. So his theory is that he had, his mental state has deteriorated to the point that they don't trust him to go in public. Well, that's clear. That's a fact. But he thinks it's to the point where all or some for sure have been CGI and faked. But I point to the fact that even Trump had the CGI. Remember that video that came out after the 6th? Oh, no, after the election. And, there's so many weird videos of him where the neckline was doing things that I've never seen a human body do. There's just these black gaps and just bad CGI. The background's fake. So that's what I think. I think they took legit video of him and then overlaid all this fake stuff. And who knows, maybe the whole thing's fake. Maybe it's deep fake as well, because some of those are getting so good. I don't know if you guys saw some of the Tom Cruise ones. They're getting so good that they can do it to anybody. I mean, this is not out of the realm of possibility, especially when you look at all the evidence. The Capitol's locked down. It's surrounded by barbed wire and a National Guard. The whole storm and all the Q stuff leading up to it for the past few years. And so many things. If you followed it, you understand. If you really followed it close, like I did, like close. So many things came true. And, Trump was asked to say some ridiculous stuff like, if this is all real, have Trump say tippity top tomorrow. Sure enough, on Easter, he goes, oh, yeah, we're in tip-top shape. Tippity top. And he said it exactly. And they said, and you know what? Say it twice. And that's exactly what he did. Say it twice. Every time that there'd be a post, there'd be a presidential post, exactly, a certain amount of minutes or, exactly at the same time. There was just so many different things. They obviously went out of their way to say 17. Anytime that they could say a random number, it was always 17. Some of you guys not believing that stuff. That's fine. I think this is more evidence to that. The SUV is from November 2020 or before. Well, pre-November 2020, I should say. There's so many things. He hasn't, every time he flies, it's not Air Force One. The call sign is not Air Force One, which to somebody who has his whole career has studied military aircraft and, the call signs and following where they go. I mean, if you watch him on the regular, you understand this guy is an expert. And he said, not this may, he's always been saying for ever since Biden's been president, this makes no sense that he's doesn't fly under Air Force One. He's never seen anything like this, and he can't think of any reason why it would be like that. But he just kind of put it under the rug, and it just made no sense to him. But what's the alternative? I mean, think of how many people would have to be involved. But if it's really that big of a military operation, this is doable. When you really think about it, it's doable. It's so I'm gonna play his video. Let's just play this one more time, so you guys know what we're talking about. Just have an open mind. But then again, I mean, it's right there in your face. So that SUV there, it has the racks on top. That's not the right model of SUV. There's no presidential seal. And then watch his hands with the microphone. And when he gets on this aircraft, well, this is Marine One, but when he gets on Air Force One, it's not Air Force One. The Capitol surrounded by guards, National Guard, surrounded by barbed wire, locked down like that.
Not at the moment. Have you decided when you're able to share stuff with other countries, is it allies or neighbors first? Who will be the first country to get U.S. vaccines?
I've been talking with several countries already. Well, I'll let you know that very shortly.
Oh, and another thing, it's cold. Yesterday, if you're in the east and northeast, it was really nice last week. It's been extremely cold, in the teens and 20s. Everyone's wearing winter jackets, right? Biden is in a summer suit. If any of you guys who work in the corporate world at a high level, there's summer suits, there's certain suits that you wear in the winter, there's certain suits you wear in the fall. This is a summer suit. He has a summer suit on. Everyone's in winter jackets. Look at all the reporters. Everyone's got winter hats, winter jackets. He's in a summer suit. There's a lot of things off with this video, and I understand at first glance it seems fine. It seems like there's nothing to it, right? But with his hand literally going through the microphone, it's CGI. It's the wrong, I'm going to play Monkey Works, because you know what? I'm a small YouTuber. For all you know, I could be lying about how I had a top secret clearance in the Navy. I did. Cryptologist and collection, CTR. And, for all you know, I could be lying about that. For all you know, it could be, I'm just delusional. So we're going to go to him. He is credited. He's an expert. He has a great reputation. And by the way, he has agreed with the theories that I put forth. I've watched him. He agrees with everything I've said. Well, I can't say that, but the general idea of what I've been putting forth. Okay, so I'm gonna play his video, at least at that part. So here it is. If you guys don't know this, you guys should check him out. He's great. He does every other day, it seems. He'll cover the military and the aircraft.
But just wanted to pop that up.
See, this is what he does.
All right. So over the last
I'll just play a little bit of what he does.
Actually, last 2 weeks, one of the things I've been noticing a pretty large influx, British aircraft and French aircraft, which tells me we either have some foreign military sales stuff going on, plausible, not uncommon, or we've got some NATO things going on. Now, this one seems to be coming out of Charleston, which is the same. That's right. This is where we had all the activity. We had stuff going down to Guantanamo Bay, etc. And so,
yeah, if you guys are in the South, a lot of it seems like Charleston has been used as a base for a lot of covert ops lately. A lot going on out of Charleston, by the way. Either he saw my video or he just came to the same conclusion. I mean, you don't catch all these things just glancing at it, but when you really look, it's undeniable that it's not real. Either the microphone isn't real, or they just, the whole background isn't real. Maybe his his body CGI. I don't know which it is. To me, I think it's all BS. I think they might use a deep fake on him, fake background. I don't know. Maybe a staged background. Maybe the background's real, and all the people. I think all the people are real, and I know they are. They can tell they are. You see Jen circle back out there. I think that's all real. I think the Secret Service agents are real people, but not really Secret Service. This is what I'm starting to get out of this, and I'm not just going too far. I don't believe, because I followed what's been going on behind the scenes for years, and it's adding up. And it just took one little piece, and that was that microphone. That microphone being CGI or whatever it is, the fact that it's not legit, the fact that his hand goes through the microphone and shows up on the other side, it makes no sense. So that one piece of information, I'm telling you, it's going to be like a floodgate. Now people are going to start looking and prodding. I'm already seeing that happening right now today. All right, so I'm going to play you what he gathered from this.
All right, without further ado, the Biden video.
Is this like a thing? I don't, has a lot of people been noticing this? I don't.
Okay. Now watch his hands at the bottom of the screen here. Mike's, Fluffy Mike. Ooh.
Not at the moment.
And did you see it go behind his hands? It's pretty crazy. Now, I want to point out a few things. I'm going to back this up. All right, just a little bit. Now, I'm assuming you guys, can you hear the noise on that video? I'm assuming you can, because my media source is showing it. Now, notice, if you would, to the right of his hands.
Yeah, Keith, I think it is. It's all stage. It's like it's a show, and we were told that it's a show and to get your popcorn and enjoy the movie. And there'd be 3 movies running at once, and I believe that's what we're seeing.
This stuff is that it almost looks like a fuzz around that microphone. That's because that's CGI. Okay, it is. It's a horrible job, and it looked like it was patch.
I really think they messed up on this one. I really think they messed up on this one big time. I think that a lot of the stuff I've been talking about that seemed kind of out there is going to stop being proven. But yeah, it's so refreshing to see a big channel notice what I saw.
Okay. And now, the other thing, too, is notice what he is wearing. His attire.
Keith, I would never believe something like this just off the bat. And I don't blame you for thinking that. I would think that if I hadn't followed this from the beginning. It's just everything I've been told, it's like I could put it in the bank. It happens. Everything. Like even the governors with the nursing homes. Last May, we were told there's 5 governors, and they're all, doing this with the nursing homes, and it's going to come out. Well, it's all coming out. It's come out with Cuomo. It's starting to come out with Gretchen. It's going to start coming out with the other ones too. Wolf, Murphy. It's going to start coming out. Everything I've learned, I could bring it to the bank. So, and plus, things have been proven over and over and over again. But let's not even go. I'm not even going to go too deep into that. Well, 1, my video will get banned, but 2, I just want to keep it relevant. I think that the country is in the process of waking up, and you can't ignore the fact that the Capitol is locked down when there's obviously no present danger and hasn't been at all. On the 6th, okay, but everyone knew nothing was going to happen after that. It was so obvious to me. I'm telling you. All right, so let's listen to Monkey Works. I think he does a good job. I'm gonna try to play it in its entirety, so I'm not gonna interrupt it.
Now, I'm assuming you guys, can you hear the noise on that video? I'm assuming you can because my media source is showing it. Now, notice, if you would, to the right of his hands, this stuff is it almost looks like a fuzz around that microphone. That's because that's CGI, okay? It is, it's a horrible job, and it looked like it's patchwork, okay? And now, the other thing, too, is notice what he is wearing. His attire, he's wearing a thin summer suit, okay? And so it's because it's, you know, I'll just point that out. He's wearing a thin summer suit, and I want you to realize that he is basically, we're going to talk to security detail in a second, but now look at the suits and the coats, and the guys are wearing head socks out there. Just look at what everybody else is wearing versus what he's wearing, okay? All right, so here we go. We're going to continue on to play that. See his hands in front of the mic? It's incredible. Now he's stepping in. Now that mic's got that fuzz around it. And you just notice it's got kind of like this Vaseline look around the outer edges of the mic, and that's because they're using a screen, and you can't get rid of that in some cases because of the colors and the color palette without doing some serious work. Now look at the hats, jackets. And there's no Marine standing at the door, Marine 1. Normally.
And yeah, it makes me think, like, these people are definitely real. I think these people were really filming recently because they, you know, it happened to be very cold for mid-March. It's very cold. And it was yesterday and the day before. So everything checks out as far as the other people in the video. You know, circle back, Jen, all of them. Circle back. Olivia, circle back later.
Mommy needs to circle back, and you need to...
All right, I'm going to do this, and you circle back. I'll circle back with you.
Daddy you circle back and me for now.
All right.
And Daddy and Mommy circle back and with me for now.
All right. That's like a running joke I have with my daughter. You know, she tells me to circle back.
There are Marines standing right there. And so there is no Marine standing at that. So that aircraft is parked. And so now look at the security detail, right? I'm going to back this up just a little bit. Notice the jackets these guys are wearing. But I also want to point out how sloppy these guys look for a Secret Service. Yeah. Secret Service are one of the most squared away guys. I mean, they are high and tight. And so now look at these guys. They look scruffy. They don't look like true U.S. Secret Service guys, okay? They stand out out of a crowd, okay? Because they are, if you knew the training those guys go through and the background that they have and the pedigree that they have, they are like the cream of the crop. You don't get a bunch of sloppy dudes in there unless they're just old retired guys. But if they are, they're not working the presidential detail. You know, they're doing all the other legwork around it. But the guys that are guarding the president are usually top notch, okay? Now, watch these security guys as we bring this in. See how that guy just looked kind of sloppy? All right, now they're going to back out again in a second. I got it on loop. All right, now, here's the other thing I wanted to
Catfish. Is that a YouTuber, Keith? I'll check that out.
point out. Notice this SUV back here in the background. Right? That SUV right there has got racks on the top. There's no presidential seal on the side, but notice it looks like a dated SUV. Now, I want to show you something. This is the Biden. So this is the SUV that we're talking about. It's got luggage racks on the top. Okay? Notice the luggage racks. So if we go back to that video, you're going to see the luggage racks on the top. Now, in November 2020, they came out with new SUVs, and they don't have that luggage rack. They've got this increased dome on the top of it. That's like another layer of security. It's a completely different model. Okay. Now you go back to his video and you look at that SUV back there. You can see on the very top the luggage racks. That is the old model pre-November 2020. Okay. And so It's just something is not right. So I'll go through it and I'm going to not talk. But watch the hands on the mic and then notice security detail and notice there is no guard or Marine standing at the door. Okay? Those hands went right through the microphones. Okay. This is all CGI. These guys are... Now, I'm not saying by any means he's not the president of the United States. What I'm saying is they are using CGI and other things to try to appear...
This is just great. See, I think that this is all part of a plan, but you know what? I am totally open to any theory. I really am. In fact, after I play this video, I'd like to see what some of your theories are. You know what? I should do a show tonight where I take calls. That would be great. And actually hear from you guys. That'd be cool. But yeah, just maybe start to formulate. What do you think's really going on? You know, because it's a fact that this thing with the microphone is just a small piece, but it's glaring because, and they wonder why people come to these conclusions with so-called conspiracy theories. They wonder why. You know, if you don't want that to happen, I don't know, maybe don't fake the interview, fake the president talking to the press and going to Marine One from an SUV that's dated pre-November 2020 in a summer suit with his hand going through the microphone, and you know, it's the whole thing's jacked up, and it just happens to fall in line with exactly what my theory is about what has been going on. You know, I mean, of course, I start to lose faith in that theory as time goes, but then things keep happening. And it's just why. The question is why. Is it really just his mental state? That's basically what Monkeyworks thinks. That they're just trying to hide how gone he really is. Well, I do think that he's not all there, but I don't think they're going to go to these lengths to hide it. I mean, it's not like he's doing a presser. You know, he just walks up and says one sentence. I mean, you don't have to fake that unless there's something bigger going on. His mental state alone isn't enough for him just to worry about him saying, you know, not at the moment, and then, you know, walking away. There's no need to fake that. So there's something bigger going on. So afterwards, I'd like to see in the comment section of the video or right here live what you guys think is going on. Because you can't ignore his hand going through a microphone. I'm pretty sure physics says you can't do that.
I think they don't have any confidence in him being around the media. And so they're having to do these things because he is not, I don't think he has the cognizance to do the long-term stuff. He can't take fielded questions because he's just bubbling.
Now, I agree with that. I just don't think that's the whole story. And I don't think he thinks that either. I don't think that he thinks that's the whole story either. I think that he just is, but that seems to be the conclusion that he's coming to. I just think that this speaks to something much bigger. Whether it's the theory that I've been kind of going along with, or even something bigger than that, or just something totally, you know, off to the side. That's why I always do keep an open mind, because, you know, this whole situation is dynamic. You know, it's changing every day. And if you shut yourself off to certain views, you're not going to get to truth. You're just not. Nobody knows it all. Everyone thinks they do, but nobody does. I know I don't. So I try to keep an open mind. That's why I actually, this isn't like, you know, some YouTubers, or on Twitter, they say, oh, and they try to ask people. They're just looking for people to, you know, participate and make it so the algorithm pumps up their channel or their Twitter, whatever. That's not what I'm doing. I am generously interested in what you guys think this all speaks to.
Seriously, it's just something is definitely up. But and the other piece too, hang on, I want to back this up 1 second before we go to this. Check out the car in the background. See the green fence, that tennis fence netting that's over here on the background on the horizon.
Also, he didn't mention, he's talking about the other car, But on the SUV, I don't think he mentioned the fact that it has no presidential seal, like it did in that picture. I mean, it's the wrong model. That's a big deal, because this is the president that doesn't leave the White House often. When he does, he's gonna be in the legit SUV, not the old model.
Behind him, note that car back there. I don't know what year that car is, but that looks like it's like an old, like, I can't tell, Mazda M3 or something. But what is that doing back here in the back shot? It just seems very, very strange. Okay, all right. So that was one of the things I wanted to point out. I was trying to post it last night from my mobile phone, and Patreon just wouldn't jive with the software, because I think the size of the file I was trying to post, and the fact that it was a video, and you're kind of limited when it comes to putting that kind of, like, from your phone. The app doesn't work well with that. It's really PC based is a lot better. So okay, so you saw the jackets. Totally different seasonal wear. Those guys, everybody's wearing these heavy, thick jackets, and he's out there in this summer suit, right? So
Exactly, Tony.
something doesn't add up. Okay, now let me show you something else that I was looking at. If you go over to Air Force One on the White House webpage, right? What does it say right here? It says Air Force One is one of the most recognizable symbols of the presidency, spawning countless references not just in American culture but across the world. It's emblazoned with the words United States of America, the American flag, and the seal of the President of the United States. And it is an undeniable presence wherever it flies, okay? Folks, if you're on Air Force One, you are going to be sporting Air Force One. It's call sign. You're the president. That's the most powerful position in the world. And the fact that every time he gets on it, it says NA, not applicable, there is something up with that. Now, like I said, I don't know that he's getting his briefings. I don't know that he can even obtain a security clearance based on all the stuff that came out before he got in there. But something stinks to high heaven here, and I don't know what it is. We'll eventually flush it out, but I think the best way to do it is just every time a detail comes in front of us, let's just analyze the data and make educated decisions. I'm not going to go down conspiracy theory lane. I'm just going to try to keep it hold and maintain what we've got. And when they throw data in front of us, let's just look at it verbatim, digest it, figure out what we're looking at. And eventually, you can't hide this kind of thing for that long. And so it'll come out. I'm pretty confident, though, the reason we're seeing the CGI stuff is because he just doesn't have the mental capacity to tee up a bunch of crazy questions from media. And so they're having to go through and just do wag the dog stuff, right? I mean, that's evident because he's not traveling anywhere, internationally. He's not going around seeing global leaders. He's not, which most presidents do. He's really staying off of Air Force One. I think also what we could be seeing is that's the media and the press is on Air Force One, and he may not even be on there, and thus there's no Air Force One. So that could be another theory, but we'll find out here soon enough. So, okay, well, all right, let's get into just what we got going on in the skies. Again, this isn't going to be a crazy long one, but just wanted to pop that up. All right, so over the last week, one of the things, actually last 2 weeks, one of the things I've been noticing a pretty large influx, British aircraft and French aircraft, which...
So yeah, he's great with what he does too. But the fact that he noticed, and by the way, he has like 600,000 subscribers. So yeah, a lot of people just got that message. Not just a couple thousand on my channel. I just saw what you put, Keith. That's very interesting. I actually follow a lot on that too. A lot of channels I watch that line up with what you put. Do you think, do you think it has anything to do with Nibiru? I mean, I think there's been a lot of evidence that there is something. Maybe it's not Nibiru. I don't know. Maybe it's a black hole. But there's something out there that's pulling on, that a lot of our instruments are picking up on. And I've heard a lot of theories that supposedly it comes like every 12,000 years or even longer. There's some type of cycle that happens with the Earth. And it doesn't seem to be, it seems to be from a different force outside the Earth. I don't know if it's that. I'm just looking at. I'm just trying to check out some of the theories you guys have. Um, if you guys could put, oh, Tony, thank you for putting the PayPal. I appreciate that. If anyone wants to donate, that's, that's great. Um, but that's not why I do this at all. In fact, I don't really get donations that much. So, but I want to hear what you guys think. I truly do, because all it takes is these small things that are undeniable. That's why I'm so happy that this thing happens to be video, because there's been a lot of evidence. I only come live and put it out if I'm not seeing it anywhere. A lot of them, you'll see them reported. If you follow the right channels, you'll get a lot of this evidence of something being amiss. I don't necessarily go into those too much. I usually try to present things if they are new. I try to present things that I think nobody's talking about. Like, for instance, this CGI that's going. Why? I don't think it's just his mental state. It has to be bigger. They're not gonna take those chances for something like that, especially when if he was doing like a whole press conference. Okay, now you have to focus in on his mental state. I don't care what his mental state is. They can coach him with how much he's been off the camera. They can coach him enough to walk up to some cameras, say that not at the moment, and then walk to Marine One if he's the president. They can do that. Now, hey, he might be president. You know what? There's a good chance that he is president. I don't know what the plan is, and that's my theory. But it could be something totally different. Maybe all the elites are in bunkers, because, like what I think Keith Martin is getting at, there might be a global catastrophe coming. We don't know exactly what it is, and I don't expect any one person that without a clearance, and not just without a clearance, but clearance, the top secret clearance is compartmentalized. Like, all I did with my top secret clearance was anything to do with frequencies and data collection. I didn't know the other stuff. I have no access to that. It's all compartmentalized. So that's how you keep anyone from knowing one thing. Anyone from knowing everything. Uh, so yeah, I'm curious as to what you guys think. If you guys could please leave what your theory is in the comments. It could be a number of things. I'm open to anything. When a piece of evidence like this comes out, it speaks to something larger, in my opinion, than just his mental state. They're not going to take a chance like this. I'm surprised at how sloppy they were. That one microphone, that was sloppy. I mean, I didn't catch it the first couple times when I saw it yesterday. But this morning, I just happened to watch it because I was just interested in what's going on at the border. And there really is something going on at the border. Monkey Works, I follow him because, watching the military aircraft, it hints at bigger things that are going to be in the news. And he was seeing this huge increase to El Paso, a lot of government attention in El Paso. Also, see, for instance, I can tell you there's a lot going on in Charleston. That's not in the news. Charleston, South Carolina, they're running covert ops out of there. So, what that speaks to, I don't know. But, that might be in the news next week. Maybe it'll all make sense. Or maybe it's just, that's just the base of their operations now, whereas it wasn't before. I know a lot goes on in Charleston, but it seems like a lot of the more covert stuff is starting to happen out of there. They're doing flights to Guantanamo too, which is abnormal. That's as of late. Yeah, I highly suggest you guys check out his channel. If you guys look in the live stream, as I'm going the comments, you can see him on the screen. There's been a couple YouTube channels, a couple that I'm gonna check out myself. You guys should check those out. There was one suggested that I didn't really know. So yeah, I hope you guys don't let them off the hook, guys. You know what? I'm just so happy that he did a big channel touched on this. It's gonna open a discussion, and once it starts, becoming bigger, they're gonna suppress it, because that's what January 6th was all about. Further suppressing our rights and making us not want to speak out, and making it easier for them to control the conversation by, suppressing speech they don't like, suppressing ideas they don't like. That's what that was all about, clearly. I mean, now that some time has passed, it's clear. That's what that day was all about. Also, it was about being able to lock down the Capitol. I have an opinion on why they want to lock down the Capitol, but oh, it's buffering. Yeah, see, I have an opinion on why they want to lock down the Capitol, but it could be a number of things. You got to take everything into consideration, and January 6th definitely helped them accomplish a couple goals, as well as establish a few new norms from that day forward. Um, Agent provocateurs have been prevalent in our society for a long time, but I think that it's never been as effective as what they did January 6th. So we'll see. We will see. Please tell me what you guys think. What do you think this is all about? I hope to see some unique theories, and I'm sure, because I'm asking for it, people watching will be looking at the comment section as well. So let me know, and I'll be back to check in. I can't promise anything, but tonight or coming soon, I'd love to do a video from my computer. That way I can take calls, and we can kind of go over things that way. All right, so I'll think about that and try to figure something out. And until then, let's keep an eye on this, guys. This is big. It's something so stupid and so small, but it's glaring, right? It's just like, whoa. Now why? Why? That's what I was asking in the last video. Why? I don't think it's just his mental state. No, that it just doesn't fit. And that SUV is the wrong model. No presidential seal, no Air Force One, summer suit, CGI microphones, or CGI Biden. Very interesting. It fits my theory. Does it fit yours? Let's see, guys. Red pill dispensary. Salute.